In Lagos's restless heart, where cars honk and music pulses, Henry Daniels, a 32-year-old billionaire, reigns above the chaos. Tall, handsome, and heir to his father's African business empire, he's known for lavish parties, fast cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Rolls-Royces, and fleeting romances with models and actresses. Nights find him in exclusive clubs, sipping fine whiskey in designer suits, paparazzi trailing his every move, from Dubai yachts to Lagos VIP lounges. Social media adores his glamorous life, yet beneath the glitz, Henry's world is hollow. Love to him is a poet's jest, relationships mere transactions. Like a folktale prince, with riches but no purpose, his luxurious life lacks meaning, setting the stage for a transformative journey in a city that never sleeps. In the heart of Lagos, where the city's pulse thrummed with relentless energy, Henry Daniels entered his father's office, a sanctum of power that exuded authority. The room, with its polished mahogany desk and walls adorned with awards and photographs of Mr. Daniels shaking hands with global titans, was a place Henry avoided. Its weighty atmosphere a reminder of the disciplined legacy he resisted. Mr. Daniels, a billionaire whose empire spanned Africa, sat with the gravitas of a village chief from the African folktales you admire. His gray suit crisp, his salt and pepper hair immaculate, his sharp eyes like those of a judge, fixed on Henry, the 32-year-old playboy whose life of parties and fleeting romances clashed with the family's storied discipline. The air was thick with unspoken expectations, the scent of leather and polish underscoring the room's formidable presence. Mr. Daniels' voice, deep and unyielding, cut through the silence. "Henry, I've made a decision," he said, folding his hands on the desk. Henry, slouched in a chair, sighed, bracing for the inevitable lecture. "You have 1 year to find a wife," his father declared. "If you fail, I'll give the company to someone else." Henry sat up, stunned. "What?" he blurted, incredulity flashing across his face. "You heard me," Mr. Daniels repeated, his tone as firm as the city's concrete. "I've watched you waste your life chasing pleasure. You're reckless, irresponsible. A man who cannot commit to a family cannot run a billion-dollar empire." Henry scoffed, his jaw tightening. "Marriage won't change anything." His father leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "Marriage will make you grow up. You treat women like trophies, love like a joke. If you can't build a family, how can I trust you with this legacy?" The ultimatum landed like a thunderclap, its echoes reverberating in Henry's mind. Marriage to him was a trap, a prison of faded promises he'd seen unravel among friends and celebrities. Yet the threat of losing his inheritance, the cars, the clubs, the freedom, was unthinkable. His father's words, delivered with the weight of a folktale elder's decree, challenged Henry's core, pitting his cherished independence against the empire's future. Frustration surged as he ran a hand through his hair, the office's opulence mocking his turmoil. Like a young hero in an African tale facing a daunting quest, Henry was cornered, his cunning mind already spinning for a way to outwit the command without surrendering his heart. The clash, steeped in familial duty and personal defiance, set the stage for a scheme that would test his resolve and lead him to an unexpected path. Henry Daniels stormed from his father's office, the weight of the ultimatum, marry within a year or lose the empire, burning in his chest. Lagos's neon-lit streets pulsed outside, a chaotic mirror to his racing thoughts. At 32, Henry thrived on freedom, fast cars, fleeting romances, and nights in elite clubs. Love, to him, was a mirage, eroded by the failed marriages he'd seen. Friends, business tycoons, celebrities, all swearing eternal devotion only to end in bitter feuds. Marriage was a cage, a vow that faded when feelings did, and Henry vowed never to be trapped. Yet his father's threat was no bluff. The empire was his birthright, the fuel for his lavish life. Like a cunning hero in the African folktales you admire, Henry's mind spun, seeking a way to outwit the decree without surrendering his heart. In the quiet of his penthouse, the city's glow filtering through floor-to-ceiling windows, an idea sparked. He didn't need a real marriage, just the illusion of one. A fake engagement, a performance to satisfy his father would secure the company without binding him. For 1 year he'd present a fiancé, play the devoted suitor, then stage a breakup, leaving him free. It was a brilliant ruse, a modern trickster's gambit akin to Anansi's schemes in your favored tale. All he needed was a woman willing to act the part, someone who'd agree to the charade for a price. The plan crystallized as he paced, the clink of whiskey glasses from a recent party still echoing in the room. Confidence surged. This was a deal he could control, a contract with no emotional strings. That night, leaving his office, Henry strode toward his sleek black Lamborghini in the parking lot, the cool air sharp against his skin. The city's lights sparkled, but a shadow near the security post caught his eye. A figure lay curled under a tattered blanket, barely visible in the lot's dim corner. At first, he thought it a sleeping guard, but closer inspection revealed a young woman, her thin frame huddled for warmth. Her presence, so stark against his world of excess, stirred curiosity, hinting at a fateful encounter like those in Folktales, where chance alters destinies. Henry paused, his plan suddenly finding a potential player, the night air charged with possibility as he considered the stranger who might hold the key to his deception. The Lagos night was alive, its neon lights casting a restless glow over the city's pulsing streets, but in the shadowed corner of Henry Daniels's office parking lot, a quieter drama unfolded. Henry, his mind alight with the cunning plan to stage a fake engagement and secure his father's empire, strode toward his gleaming black Lamborghini, the cool air sharp against his tailored suit. The ultimatum, marry within a year or lose everything, still burned, fueling his resolve to outwit the decree with a performance of love, not its reality. As he neared his car, a faint shape caught his eye near the security post, huddled under a tattered blanket on the cold pavement. At first he mistook it for a sleeping guard, but a closer look revealed a young woman, her thin frame curled tightly for warmth, her worn clothes and messy hair a stark contrast to the city's opulence. Like a chance encounter in the African folktales you cherish, this moment shimmered with possibility, a collision of worlds that could alter destinies. Henry nudged her foot lightly with his shoe, his curiosity piqued. The woman startled awake, her eyes wide with fear, scrambling to her feet as if bracing for danger. "Please, don't hurt me," she pleaded, her voice shaky but resolute, her gaze darting like a cornered creature's. Henry raised a brow, his usual arrogance tempered by intrigue. "Relax. I'm not here to hurt you. What are you doing in my parking lot?" Her hesitation was palpable, but she steadied herself, drawing a deep breath. "I have nowhere else to go," she said softly, her words carrying the weight of a life unraveled. Henry studied her, noting the exhaustion etched into her young face, perhaps early 20s, and the sadness in her intelligent eyes. Beneath the dirt he glimpsed a faded beauty, a softness that hinted at better days. "What's your name?" he asked, his tone probing yet calm. "Lisa," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Folding his arms, Henry pressed further. "What's your story, Lisa?" She paused, her gaze flickering with reluctance, then spoke, her voice steady despite the pain it carried. "My parents died in a car accident 2 years ago. They were all I had. I was in my 3rd year of university, studying mass communication, but I couldn't pay my fees, so I dropped out. I worked as a cleaner here, in your company, until I lost the job. Security kicked me out of the staff quarters and my landlord evicted me last month. I've been sleeping wherever I can." Her story, raw and unembellished, struck Henry not with pity, but with recognition. Lisa wasn't just a victim, she was a survivor, her resilience echoing the strength of heroines like Faye from your tales, who endure loss, yet hold fast to their spirit. An opportunity crystallized in Henry's mind. His fake engagement needed a partner, and Lisa, with her desperate circumstances and quiet strength, was perfect. Stepping closer, he met her eyes. "What if I told you I could change your life?" Lisa blinked, wary. "What?" "I have a deal," he said, his voice smooth but commanding. "For 1 year you pretend to be my fiancé. In return, I'll give you money, a place to stay, whatever you need to start over." Lisa stared, her expression a mix of disbelief and suspicion, the offer as surreal as a folktale bargain with a trickster. "You want me to pretend to be your fiancé? Why?" "I have my reasons," Henry replied, his smirk hinting at the empire at stake. Lisa's mind raced, the proposal too fantastical, too risky, yet the cold pavement and empty stomach urged her to listen. Like a village maiden weighing a magical pact, she stood at a crossroads, her survival pitted against the unknown, the city's restless hum a backdrop to her momentous choice. In the dim Lagos parking lot, Lisa Gray stood before Henry Daniels, his audacious proposal. Pretend to be his fiancé for a year in exchange for a new life, hanging in the air. The city's neon glow flickered, its restless hum a stark contrast to her racing heart. Homeless, orphaned, and stripped of her university dreams, Lisa faced a choice that felt like a folktale bargain, perilous yet tempting. Her worn clothes and empty stomach urged acceptance, but the offer's surreal nature sparked distrust. Was this a trap? Her eyes, sharp with survival's lessons, studied Henry's smirk, his tailored suit a world apart from her reality. Like a heroine in the African tales you cherish, akin to Faye's resilient spirit, Lisa weighed her desolate present against an uncertain promise, her strength a quiet flame in the night's chill. Lisa's mind churned. The streets offered only hunger and danger, her degree a distant memory. Henry's deal promised shelter, money, a chance to reclaim her education, yet it felt like a movie plot. Too good, too risky. Why me, she'd asked, and his vague, I have my reasons, did little to ease her skepticism. Doubt battled desperation as she recalled weeks of begging, dodging threats, surviving on scraps. You promise I won't have to do anything inappropriate? She pressed, her voice firm. Henry chuckled. Don't flatter yourself, this is strictly business. Acting in public, separate lives in private. His assurance, laced with arrogance, framed the deal as a performance, not intimacy. Lisa exhaled, her breath visible in the cool air. This could be her escape, a lifeline to her dreams, if she could trust the man before her. Steadying herself, Lisa dusted off her torn dress, a gesture of defiance. I'll do it, she said, her tone resolute despite trembling hands. Henry's smirk widened. Smart choice. She crossed her arms, her gaze unwavering. But I have conditions. 1, I want money for my education. 2, there are limits. I won't do anything I'm not comfortable with. Henry raised an eyebrow, amused. Fine, relax, I've no interest in love. Lisa nodded, her heart pounding. Like a folktale maiden sealing a pact with a trickster, she stepped into the unknown, the city's lights a backdrop to her leap, knowing this role, for 1 year, could rewrite her story if she could navigate its danger. The Lagos dawn painted the city in hues of gold, its restless energy humming beyond the gates of Henry Daniels's 3-story villa, a white and gold palace of wealth that seemed to belong to a dream. Lisa Gray, once a homeless student surviving on the streets, stepped into this alien world, her small bag of belongings dwarfed by the mansion's grandeur. The foyer's marble floors gleamed under a sparkling chandelier, its crystals catching the light like stars, while fountains murmured in the manicured gardens outside. Servants in crisp black and white uniforms moved with silent precision, their polite nods doing little to ease Lisa's sense of displacement. Like a village maiden entering a king's court in the African folk tales you cherish, Lisa felt both awe and trepidation, her resilience, akin to Faye's steadfast spirit, tested by the opulence that now surrounded her. The agreement to pose as Henry's fiancé for a year, a deal forged in a parking lot, was her lifeline, but its reality overwhelmed her. Mr. Benson, the butler, led Lisa to her bedroom, a space larger than her childhood home, with a bed soft as clouds and a walk-in closet brimming with designer dresses, shoes, and bags. Lisa's breath caught as she ran her fingers over a silk gown, the luxury so foreign it felt like a mirage. This can't be real, she whispered, her voice swallowed by the room's vastness. Yet, it was real. A stage for her role as Henry's fiancé, a performance to secure her future and return to university. She steeled herself, determined to play the part, her heart a mix of gratitude and caution. The mansion, with its golden accents and echoing halls, was a far cry from the cold pavement. But Lisa knew this was temporary, a contract, not a home, and she must guard against its seductive pull. That evening, Henry strode into the living room adjusting his black designer suit, his presence commanding yet laced with his usual smirk. "Get dressed," he said, his eyes scanning her. "We have an event tonight. Time to introduce my beautiful fiancé to society." Lisa's stomach churned, the reality of her role crashing in. "For what?" she asked, her voice betraying nerves. Henry's smirk widened. "Showtime. Don't mess this up." Her hands trembled as she chose a simple blue gown from the closet, its elegance transforming her reflection. With makeup and heels, she emerged, catching Henry's rare nod of approval. "You look better than I expected," he quipped, offering his arm. Lisa rolled her eyes but linked arms, the city's lights flashing as paparazzi swarmed outside, their cameras a blinding assault. Like a folktale heroine stepping into a trial, Lisa braced for her debut, her heart pounding with the weight of the masquerade. The event unfolded in a grand Lagos ballroom, a glittering realm of chandeliers and golden decor, where women in gowns worth fortunes and men sipping champagne spoke of power and wealth. Lisa clung to Henry's arm, her forced smile masking her sense of being an imposter among the elite. All eyes turned to them, whispers trailing their path. Henry, at ease, navigated the crowd with practiced charm, shaking hands and flashing smiles. "Stay close," he whispered, "and remember, you're madly in love with me." Lisa's eye roll hid her nerves as she nodded, her role demanding a performance she wasn't sure she could sustain. The first test came with Jaden, Henry's charismatic friend whose navy suit and bright smile filled the room. "Henry, my man," he grinned, then turned to Lisa, kissing her hand with a lingering charm. "And who's this beautiful lady?" Lisa hesitated, then extended her hand. "Lisa." Jaden's playful gaze sparked tension in Henry, his jaw tightening. "So, this is your fiancé?" Jaden teased. "Never thought I'd see the day," Henry forced a chuckle. "Things change." Jaden leaned toward Lisa. "If he gets too boring, you know where to find me." Lisa, sensing Henry's grip tighten, tested the waters with a smile. "I'll keep that in mind." Henry's arm stiffened, a flicker of jealousy betraying his cool facade. A moment that hinted at depths beyond their deal. The night grew heavier, as Anita, a sharp-eyed journalist in a red gown, pulled Lisa aside. "Henry doesn't do relationships," she warned, her smile cold. "Women like you don't last in this world, be careful." Lisa's heart sank, the words echoing her fears of being exposed. The ballroom's sparkle faded, its scrutiny a reminder of the stakes. Like a folktale hero facing a trial by fire, Lisa's debut tested her resolve, her strength stretched by a world of wealth and suspicion. Yet her quiet defiance held, setting the stage for the challenges ahead. The city of Lagos thrummed with its ceaseless rhythm, its neon lights painting the night in vibrant hues. But within the golden glow of Henry Daniels's mansion, a quieter transformation was unfolding. Lisa Gray, once a homeless student scraping by on the streets, now inhabited a world of marble floors and crystal chandeliers, her role as Henry's fake fiancé a delicate dance of deception. The mansion's grandeur, with its sprawling gardens and fountains murmuring under starlight, felt like a palace from the African folktales you cherish, yet its opulence underscored Lisa's sense of being an outsider. Her debut at the Lagos ballroom, navigating the scrutiny of high society, had tested her resolve, but the next challenge loomed larger: meeting Mr. Daniels, Henry's formidable father, whose approval could make or break their charade. Like a village maiden facing a council of elders, Lisa braced for a trial that would demand every ounce of her resilience, her strength akin to Faye's enduring spirit from your beloved tales. The morning of the meeting, Lisa stood before Mr. Daniels's mansion, a colossus of wealth with towering ceilings and walls adorned with priceless paintings, its golden chandeliers casting a regal glow. Her heart pounded, her hands sweating as she smoothed her simple yet elegant dress, a far cry from the tattered clothes of her past. Henry, in a tailored suit, exuded his usual confidence but sensed her nerves. "Ready?" he asked, his smirk softer than usual. Lisa shook her head, a nervous laugh escaping. "No." Taking a deep breath, she nodded, stepping into the grand living room where Mr. Daniels awaited, seated like a chief in a folk-tale tribunal. His sharp eyes, framed by salt and pepper hair, scanned her with an intensity that made her feel transparent, his tailored suit a symbol of unyielding authority. "Hello, Dad," Henry said casually, his arm brushing Lisa's. "This is Lisa, my fiancé." Lisa stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing pulse. "It's an honor to meet you, sir." Mr. Daniels remained silent, his gaze dissecting her, the room's heavy air thick with expectation. Then he spoke, his voice deep and measured. "You're not like the other girls photographed with Henry." Lisa blinked, caught off guard by the observation. "Sir?" Mr. Daniels leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "The women Henry entertains are obsessed with money and fame. You," he tilted his head, "seem different." Lisa forced a polite smile, her nerves easing slightly. "I believe there's more to life than wealth, sir." Her words, rooted in the hardship she'd endured, carried a quiet conviction that echoed the values of community and integrity in African tales. Mr. Daniels nodded, a rare approval glinting in his eyes. "I like her." Henry, visibly surprised, chuckled. "That's it? You've criticized my choices my whole life and now you approve?" His father's gaze softened, a hint of pride surfacing. "For once, you made a wise choice." Lisa felt a small victory, her heart swelling with relief, but as she glanced at Henry, she noticed a shift in his expression. His usual amusement was gone, replaced by something softer, unreadable, as if seeing her anew through his father's eyes. The moment, fleeting yet profound, stirred a warmth in her chest, a flicker of connection that transcended their deal. Days passed, and Lisa began to settle into her new life, the mansion's luxuries. Warm beds, gourmet meals, designer clothes, easing the sting of her past. Yet it was Henry's unexpected gestures that unsettled her most. He brought her coffee each morning, dismissing it as nothing, and defended her against skeptics at events, his protective edge surprising her. At night, on the mansion's balcony, the city's lights twinkling below, they talked, their conversations deepening. One evening, Lisa asked, "Why don't you believe in love?" Henry's smirk faded, his jaw tightening as he looked away. "Because love is an illusion," he said quietly. "People pretend, but they always leave." His words carried a hidden pain, a scar Lisa sensed, but didn't press. "Not everyone leaves," she said softly, their eyes locking in a silent understanding, a moment of vulnerability that felt like a village fire's shared warmth in your tales. Lisa's heart raced with each accidental brush of their hands, each lingering glance, but she fought the feelings, reminding herself this was a business deal. Henry, too, grappled with unfamiliar emotions, Lisa's intelligence and kindness piercing his guarded heart. Like folktale characters finding solace in shared truths, they were falling, their growing feelings a quiet rebellion against the contract, setting the stage for a love that would soon face its greatest test. The Okocha mansion, its marble halls bathed in the soft glow of chandeliers, stood as a gilded stage for the unfolding drama of Henry Daniels and Lisa Gray's faux engagement. Lisa, once a homeless student, had navigated the opulent world of Lagos's elite, her resilience, akin to Faye's steadfast spirit from the African folktales you cherished, tested by high society's scrutiny and Mr. Daniels' approval. Yet, the fragile warmth growing between her and Henry, sparked by shared glances and quiet talks, was about to face a storm. The city's neon pulse thrummed beyond the mansion's gates, but within, a new threat emerged, one that would shake the foundations of their carefully crafted charade. One evening, as Lisa sat in the living room, her fingers tracing the pages of a book, the front door swung open, admitting a woman whose elegance rivaled the mansion's splendor. Dressed in a form-fitting designer gown, her confidence a palpable force, she strode in, her heels clicking like a warning drum on the marble floor. Lisa's breath caught, sensing the intruder's significance before a word was spoken. Henry followed, his face taut with tension, his usual smirk replaced by a wary edge. "Nancy," he said, his voice low, "why are you here?" Nancy Williams, Henry's first love, smiled sweetly, her eyes glinting with intent. "Henry, darling, do I need permission to visit an old friend?" Her casual touch on his arm, possessive and familiar, sent a jolt through Lisa, her heart tightening with an unfamiliar pang. Nancy turned to Lisa, her gaze sweeping over her with amused scrutiny, as if sizing up a rival in a village tales contest. "And you must be the new fiancé," she said, tilting her head, her tone laced with mockery. Lisa forced a polite smile, standing to meet her eyes. "Yes, I am. And you are?" Nancy's laugh was light but cutting. "Oh, Henry didn't tell you about me? That's surprising. I'm Nancy Williams, his first love." The words landed like a stone, Lisa's chest constricting as she glanced at Henry, his clenched jaw confirming the truth. Nancy's presence, like a trickster's spirit disrupting a folktale harmony, cast a shadow over the room, her smile hiding a dangerous edge that Lisa instinctively distrusted. Henry sighed, his voice sharp. "Nancy, if you came to cause trouble—" She cut him off with a laugh, her hand waving dismissively. "Relax, I just wanted to talk." But her eyes, darting between Henry and Lisa, betrayed her intent. They moved to the lounge, an awkward silence settling as Nancy sat with poised grace, her bracelet glinting under the lamplight. Lisa lingered at the threshold, her instincts screaming to stay alert. Nancy's return wasn't a mere visit, it was a challenge, a ripple threatening to unravel the delicate bond she and Henry had begun to weave. Like a heroine facing a rival's cunning in your cherished tales, Lisa braced for the storm, her heart racing with the weight of a past she couldn't yet grasp, the mansion's opulence a hollow backdrop to the tension that now simmered within its walls. The Okacha mansion, its golden chandeliers casting a deceptive calm, could not shield Lisa Gray from the storm brewing beyond its walls. Nancy Williams' return had stirred unease, her presence a sharp reminder of Henry Daniels's past, but the true blow was yet to come. Lisa, whose resilience mirrored Faye's enduring spirit in the African folktales you admire, had begun to feel the pull of love for Henry, their shared moments on the balcony igniting a warmth that defied their fake engagement. Yet the city of Lagos, with its relentless pulse and prying eyes, was about to test her strength, exposing her past to a world eager to judge. Nancy, unconvinced by Henry's commitment to Lisa, met with Anita, the journalist whose sharp words had warned Lisa at the ballroom. In a sleek cafe, the city's hum a distant murmur, Nancy leaned forward, her eyes glinting with malice. "This engagement doesn't add up," she said, sipping coffee. Anita nodded, her smile calculating. "Henry's relationships are short, meaningless. I've dug into Lisa's past. She was a cleaner at his company, homeless, a university dropout." Nancy's amusement darkened. "Oh, this is interesting. They conspired to expose Lisa, their plan a venomous arrow aimed at her fragile place in Henry's world." Days later, a notification lit up Lisa's phone in the mansion's living room, her heart stopping at the headline, "Who is Henry Daniels's fiancé? The shocking truth about Lisa's past." Her fingers trembled as she opened the article, her life laid bare. Her homelessness, her cleaning job, her abandoned degree, accompanied by humiliating photos of her in a janitorial uniform. The article was merciless, painting Lisa as a gold digger. Social media erupted, some comments sympathetic, "She's been through a lot," but others vicious. "Just another schemer, Henry could have anyone, why a cleaner?" A viral video showed Nancy, her smile sweet but poisonous, saying, "It's surprising Henry's engaged to someone who worked for him. I hope his heart doesn't get broken." Lisa's stomach churned, Nancy's betrayal clear. The world's judgment, like a village tribunal in a folktale, stripped her bare, her resilience strained as she scrolled through the cruel words. Henry stormed in, his face dark, throwing his phone down. "The whole world thinks you're using me," he said, frustration lacing his voice. Lisa swallowed, her voice steady despite the ache. "I never asked for this." Henry's jaw tightened, his eyes meeting hers. "I know," he said, but his hesitation, a second too long, cut deeper than the article's barbs. Lisa's heart sank, the doubt in Henry's gaze a wound she hadn't expected. The mansion's opulence, once a refuge, now felt like a cage, its mirrors reflecting her humiliation. Like a folktale heroine facing public scorn, Lisa stood at a crossroads, her love for Henry clashing with the world's verdict and his fleeting uncertainty. The scandal, orchestrated by Nancy and Anita, had exposed her past, but its true cost was the fracture in her trust, setting the stage for a confrontation that would test the depth of their bond and her courage to fight for it. The Okacha mansion, its marble corridors once a symbol of Lisa Gray's improbable ascent, now felt like a gilded cage, its opulence mocking her exposed vulnerabilities. The media scandal, orchestrated by Nancy and Anita, had laid bare her past. Homelessness, a cleaning job, a university dropout, branding her a gold digger in Lagos's unforgiving spotlight. Lisa, whose resilience echoed Faye's enduring spirit in the African folktales you cherish, sat in the living room, her heart heavy with humiliation. Henry's hesitation when asked if he believed the accusations, "I know," he'd said, pausing a beat too long, cut deeper than the public's scorn. The city's neon pulse thrummed beyond the mansion's walls, but within, Lisa faced a reckoning, her role as Henry's fake fiancé unraveling under the weight of her unspoken love. Summoned by Mr. Daniels, Henry's formidable father, Lisa entered his grand office, its mahogany desk and award-lined walls exuding authority. Her hands trembled, the memory of their first meeting, his surprising approval, now overshadowed by the scandal's shadow. Mr. Daniels, his sharp eyes piercing, sat like a village elder in a folktale tribunal, his tailored suit a mantle of judgment. "Tell me the truth, Lisa," he said, leaning forward. "Are you with my son for his money?" The question stung, her throat tightening. "No, sir," she replied, her voice steady despite the ache. "I'm not." He studied her, his gaze unrelenting. "The media will drag you through the dirt, and Henry too. Are you ready for that?" Lisa hesitated, the world's cruel words, schemer, cleaner, danger, echoing in her mind. Her strength, forged in hardship, wavered under the weight of public judgment. Before she could respond, the office's flat screen flared to life with breaking news. Henry's name cutting through the silence. Lisa and Mr. Daniels turned, the anchor's voice sharp. "Billionaire Henry Daniels has spoken out against rumors." A live video showed Henry at a press conference, his posture commanding. "Let me make something clear," he said, his voice firm. "Lisa is not a gold digger. She is a woman of strength, intelligence, and character. I don't care what the media says, she's my fiancée and deserves respect." Reporters clamored, but Henry walked away, his defense resolute. Lisa's eyes widened, her heart pounding painfully. He'd stood for her, publicly, with a conviction that shattered her doubts, yet deepened her turmoil. The office, its air thick with the broadcast's echo, became a sacred space, a moment of truth akin to a folktale hero's stand. Lisa turned to Mr. Daniels, her voice trembling. "Sir, I have something to tell you." He leaned forward, waiting. Taking a deep breath, she confessed. "This engagement started as an arrangement, a deal. Henry needed a fiancé to keep the company, and I needed a way to survive." Her words, raw and heavy, hung in the air, her shame palpable. Like a heroine, bearing her soul in a village council, Lisa braced for judgment, her love for Henry, a truth she'd hidden, now demanding to be spoken, setting the stage for a decision that would redefine her path. The Okocha mansion, its golden halls silent under the Lagos night, bore witness to Lisa Gray's breaking heart. Her confession to Mr. Daniels, that the engagement was a deal, but her love for Henry was real, had unburdened her soul, yet left her raw. Fearing Henry didn't reciprocate, Lisa felt the weight of the scandal's scorn and his earlier hesitation, her resilience, mirroring Faye's strength in the African folktales you admire, strained to its limit. The city's neon glow flickered beyond the mansion's windows, but within, Lisa made a wrenching choice. Her love a flame too bright to sustain in pretense. Like a folktale heroine choosing honor over false promises, she resolved to leave, preserving her truth even at the cost of her heart. In her opulent bedroom, Lisa penned a note, her delicate handwriting trembling on the page. "Dear Henry, thank you for giving me a home when I had none, for defending me when the world turned against me. But I can't do this anymore. I'm returning the check. Goodbye, Lisa." She placed the check, her promised fortune, beside it, untouched, a testament to her integrity. With only her small bag, she slipped out, the mansion's grandeur fading behind her, the night's cool air a stark reminder of the streets she'd once known. Her heart ached, each step a sacrifice, yet her love for Henry demanded she free him from their deal, believing he deserved a truth she thought he couldn't return. Henry returned to the mansion, expecting Lisa's quiet presence, perhaps reading in the living room's soft light. The silence unnerved him, the air heavy with absence. Calling her name yielded no reply. his chest tightening as he spotted a white envelope on the coffee table, his name in her script. His fingers shook as he tore it open, reading her words, his eyes lingering on, "I can't do this anymore." The check, untouched, struck him like a blow. She'd left, not for wealth, but because she believed their bond was one-sided. A sharp pang, unfamiliar, raw, gripped him, his heart racing with the truth he'd denied. He loved her. Like a folktale hero awakening to his heart's call, Henry's world shifted, the mansion's opulence meaningless without her. As he ripped the note in half, frustration boiling, Nancy appeared at the doorway, her gown clinging to her curves, her smile calculated. "She's gone, isn't she?" she said, stepping closer. "She never belonged here, Henry. You and we understand each other." Her hand grazed his chest, but Henry stepped back, his voice cold. "No, Nancy. We were over a long time ago." Her confidence faltered as he continued. "I was blind before, but now I know where my heart lies. With Lisa." Nancy's face twisted with jealousy. "She left you? She didn't fight for you?" Henry's gaze was resolute. "You don't know me anymore." Turning away, he stormed out, determined to find Lisa, his love, a beacon in the city's restless night, the mansion a hollow echo of the bond he now knew he couldn't lose. The city of Lagos pulsed with its relentless rhythm, its neon lights casting a restless glow over streets alive with the hume of life. But for Henry Daniels, the world had narrowed to a singular purpose: finding Lisa Gray. Her departure from the Okocha mansion, leaving behind a note and the untouched check, had shattered his guarded heart, revealing a love he'd denied. The note's words, "I can't do this anymore," echoed in his mind, a painful reminder of his hesitation when the media branded her a gold digger. Lisa's selflessness, returning the fortune that could have rebuilt her life, struck him like a folktale hero's sacrifice, her resilience akin to Faye's enduring spirit from the African tales you cherish. Henry, once a playboy thriving on fleeting pleasures, now drove through the city's chaos, his sleek Lamborghini a blur, his heart racing with a truth he could no longer ignore. He loved her, and he would not let her go. His mind churned, piecing together where Lisa might have fled. With no family or home, her dreams of university studying mass communication were her anchor. The university where her aspirations had been stolen by hardship was the likely place she'd go, if only to mourn her lost future. Tires screeching, Henry pulled up to the campus gates, the night air cool against his skin. There, on a bench under a flickering street lamp, sat Lisa, her small bag beside her, her gaze lost in the shadowed buildings. Her face, etched with sorrow, mirrored the loneliness she'd carried since her parents' death, yet her quiet strength shone through, a beacon in the darkness. Henry's chest ached, each step toward her heavy with the weight of his realization. Like a folktale hero chasing a lost love across a mythic plain, he moved with unwavering resolve, the city's din fading as he approached. "Lisa?" he called softly, his voice raw. She looked up, her eyes widening in shock. "Henry?" Before she could speak, he closed the distance, pulling her into his arms, his embrace fierce yet tender. Lisa gasped, her body stiffening, then softening as his warmth enveloped her. "You were wrong," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. She blinked up at him, tears glistening. "What?" "You were wrong to leave," he said, holding her tighter. "You were wrong to think I didn't feel the same." Her breath hitched, her eyes searching his. "Henry, He cupped her face, his thumb brushing a tear. "I love you, Lisa," he said, his voice fierce. "Not because of this stupid deal, not because of my father. I love you because you're the best damn thing that ever happened to me." Lisa's tears spilled, a shaky laugh escaping as she let out, "You love me?" Henry nodded, his gaze unwavering. "I love you." In that moment, under the campus's quiet stars, she kissed him, a kiss born of truth, not pretense, sealing a bond forged through trials, like a village couple's vow in your cherished tales. Beyond the reunion, the ripples of their love reached others. Anita, the journalist who'd fueled the scandal, sat at her desk staring at her article exposing Lisa's past, watching a viral video of Henry's desperate pursuit, pulling Lisa into his arms, She saw not a gold digger, but a woman who'd left for love, not wealth. Her pursuit of a scandal faltered, her heart stirred by their authenticity. "Drop the investigation," she told her editor, her voice soft. "There's no story here." Nancy, meanwhile, stood on her penthouse balcony, the city's lights mocking her defeat. Her schemes, whispering doubts, exposing Lisa, had failed. Henry's choice of Lisa over her, his unwavering love, left her heartbroken, a rare vulnerability for a woman of power. As she packed to leave Lagos, tears betrayed her loss a folktale lesson in the cost of envy. Henry and Lisa's reunion, a triumph of love over deception, set the stage for a future where their bond would face its final, joyful test, the city a witness to a love that defied its judgments. The Okocha mansion, once a cold fortress of wealth, now hummed with the warmth of love, its marble halls and rose-scented gardens a testament to Henry Daniels and Lisa Gray's journey from a fake engagement to a bond unbreakable. Their reunion at the university, sealed with a kiss under starlit skies, had silenced the scandal's roar, proving their love's truth to a skeptical Lagos. The city, with its neon pulse and restless streets, buzzed with anticipation as news spread of their wedding, a celebration that would crown their story, a modern folk tale echoing the communal joy of African tales you admire. Lisa, once a homeless student, and Henry, the reformed playboy, stood ready to vow their love, their resilience, Lisa's akin to Faye's enduring spirit, having triumphed over doubt and deceit. The wedding was a spectacle, held on a grand African estate, its grounds adorned with gold and white fabrics that billowed like clouds, twinkling fairy lights weaving magic through the air. Traditional talking drums echoed, their rhythms a heartbeat of celebration, as thousands of fresh flowers perfumed the scene, their petals catching the sun's golden rays. Lisa emerged, radiant in a Yoruba-inspired bridal gown, its gold embroidery shimmering, a vision of grace that silenced the crowd. Henry, resplendent in a richly woven agbada, stood at the altar, his eyes locked on her, brimming with pure love. Mr. Daniels, seated in the front row, smiled with pride, his doubts about his son's heart dispelled. For years he'd questioned Henry's capacity for love, but now, watching him hold Lisa's hands, he saw a man transformed, a son who'd found his true legacy. The ceremony unfolded with heartfelt simplicity, the priest's voice rising over the drumbeats. "You may kiss the bride," he declared, and Henry, without hesitation, pulled Lisa into his arms, their kiss deep and unreserved, sealing their vows before a cheering crowd. The guests, once skeptical of Lisa's place in Henry's world, now applauded, their claps mingling with the twins' laughter from earlier tales, a chorus of unity. Social media erupted, transforming Lisa's narrative from cleaner to queen, a real-life Cinderella, into a viral celebration. Comments flooded in, "Lisa is proof love has no class, Henry and Lisa forever, a fairy tale in Lagos." The city, which had judged her harshly, now embraced her, its streets alive with the story of a love that defied wealth's boundaries. Later, under a canopy of stars, Henry and Lisa danced, the estate's lights casting a golden glow. Lisa whispered, "Did you ever think we'd end up here?" Henry smirked, pulling her closer. "Not in a million years," she laughed, her voice soft. "Neither did I." He lifted her chin, his eyes tender, "But I wouldn't change a thing." Their kiss, bathed in moonlight, was a vow renewed, a moment of intimacy that echoed the sacred unions of folktale lovers who overcome trials. The story's lessons, drawn from African folktale wisdom, shone brightly. Love transcends class, finding you in unexpected places. Resilience overcomes judgment, as Lisa's journey from homelessness to honor proved, and authenticity triumphs over deception, as Henry's transformation from playboy to devoted partner showed. Like a village celebrating a hero's victory, Lagos hailed their union, the drum's rhythm a heartbeat of hope, their love a beacon in a city that had learned to believe in fairy tales.